Can you hear me okay? Wonderful. My preferred and favorite style of filmmaking is documentary-based filmmaking. I've always been drawn to it, even at a young age. I remember always enjoying that. My name's Chris Eckman. Thank you all for having me today. I'm not a filmmaker, but hopefully by the end of this presentation you will see in ways that comic creation and sequential art actually relates quite a great deal to filmmaking. A little slower than film. I think film is, 24 frames per second? So comics run about, well, however slow you want. But you have panels on the page which represent the films or slides on that you see in film, and then as the sequential images are moved along, the story is told. So if you think of it like that, film and comics aren't too far apart. And again, they're worlds apart at the same time. I grew up in Elkhorn City. Those of you who know what Elkhorn City is, Elkhorn City, Kentucky, never heard of it? You can't go any further in the state, any more east in the state, and still be in Kentucky than Elkhorn City. And while I was in school, no one came to my school and talked to me about careers in the arts in terms of working as an illustrator or a comic book artist or anything like that. That's what I try to do now. So I go out to schools and I talk to students, those interested in art, how their art careers out there. There's a term that I grew up familiar with, the starving artist. Has anybody ever heard that before? Starving artist. So that really sums up what a lot of students of my generation felt about art. If you did not go into art education, then you're going to have a hard time. A lot of times students think, when you think that I live and work as an artist, and my career as an artist, you think of gallery art. Like you go into a gallery and you see paintings and you purchase those paintings and you live off the sales of those paintings. Well, having a career in that is almost nil today. But there is a huge industry though, with working as graphic design, working within capacity of illustrator. I don't work for large companies like Abram Books or Amulet Books, but I work for regional publishers like Hidden Wolf Books in St. Augustine, Florida. I work for a lot of regional publishers within the tri-state area. And how I kind of describe this is that regional publishers, for instance, Hidden Wolf Books in St. Augustine, Florida, they publish works about pirates, pirate ships. I finished a story recently titled Pirate Ship Bed Trip, and the author of this is Nancy Quackenbush. That's her real name. She's a Florida author. And but you can imagine a company in St. Augustine, Florida, to be producing content on pirate ships. St. Augustine is a coastal little city. It's fraught with history, going back to Spanish armadas coming through and war, and so sure. But when you think of a regional publisher, say in San Antonio, Texas, you don't imagine that publisher to create works about pirates. You may imagine that publisher to create works about the West, ranch life, things of that nature. So regional publishers publish content that are specific to a certain region. I currently started work on a book with a filmmaker, Bruce Parsons. He's the creator of The Holler. He's a teacher. He teaches here at UPIKE. He wrote a story called Mockingbirds, and it's a graphic novel. And when he approached me with it, I was a little apprehensive because my work has all been in children's book illustration. Although I've worked as a cartoonist for a long time. Actually, I apologize for being here on the stage. I also worked as the editorial cartoonist for Appalachian News Express here in town for the weekend edition. So I've worked as a cartoonist for a long time, but I never really considered taking on a graphic novel, especially the size of what Mockingbirds is. So today, in the hopes to prove to you that film and comic creation is not too far apart, I'm going to show you a small presentation that I put together. And in that, I break down all the steps required in creating a comic book or a graphic novel. So those of you who are interested in this type of stuff, take heed to it. This is stuff that you could do one day if you're interested. I just finished interviewing Lacey Hale. Lacey Hale's from, well, she grew up in Knott County. Do you know Lacey Hale? Anybody ever heard of Lacey? She works for the Apple Shop in Whitesburg. And I have a podcast called Mug Media Podcast. And I finished interviewing her this week. And Lacey attended Pratt in New York. And she won recently, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Tannay Award. It's French. When I first asked her about it, I was like, you know, the Tannay Award, but it's Tannay Award. And the list of recipients from this award were cities like New York, Nashville, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, and at the bottom of the list was Irvine, Kentucky. So it was amazing to talk to her about her efforts to create community awareness around the arts. And
so actually supposed to be coming later this afternoon at the shop. There's supposed to be some people here presenting.
Really?
We also have
awesome. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so I hope everyone can see that pretty well. Let's make sure I have it. Awesome. We're cooking with peanut oil, they say. Okay, so if you look up on the screen, you're going to see three different things. This is the first on the far left is a character design. The middle is a script. And if you know anything or related at all in relation to filmmaking, you know what that is. Comics and film use a script. It's a little different for print than it is film, but essentially it's the same thing, okay? And then over to the far right, you see one of the early versions of the cover of this book, okay? Basically, when we start out, we're working with the script the same as a filmmaker would work with the script. There's different roles in the comic book industry. There's inker, penciler, storyboard artist, there's colorist. Because we are working, with not a lot of resources right now between Bruce and I. He works as the colorist, and of course he's the author, and I am the penciler and the inker. Okay, so that's how this works. But I receive a script. So this is Now, if you'll notice really close, those of you who are really keen to detail, you'll see that says Mockingbird. Bruce changed the title of this later on to Mockingbirds, written by Bruce Parsons. So the script is essentially just words on a piece of paper, but we'll take a closer look at it in a second. Sometimes you have direction from the publishing company, in this case the author Bruce, on what he would like to see with the book. So this is before any artwork is ever approached at all. This is at the point where I've read the script one time or two times maybe, and he sends to me the top left is a version of the ink style he would like. And then Bruce is an artist too, so he sketched out a couple of the characters from the book and in the style that he hoped to see the characters drawn in. This does not mean at all that this is going to be the final result of anything. This is just suggestions to the artist, okay? So a lot of times with film, you're given a lot of direction on some occasions, and then some occasions the director has, free range on what they would like to see happen. The early steps in this process is that the characters have to be defined, okay? Characters are so important to any story, to any script, no matter if it's for film or for print. The characters drive the plot. The characters carry everything about the notion of the story from the climax all the way back to your conflict, all the way in through your settings even. The characters, how they relate to their setting, okay? Characters are so important. So knowing what characters look like before you ever start to draw is so important. I conduct workshops with students in schools. Sometimes I'll say, okay, we're going to work like a week-long residency at a high school or a middle school. And I'll say, okay, we write our story. Now the students will then begin to work on their book, and what happens is they want to just immediately start to draw. No one really understands how much planning goes into a book, this size. There's, before the first pencil lines are ever laid down on a page, the creators know the style they want, they know what the characters look like, they know the color spectrum, they know everything about this book. So that's the first step. These are sketches that I did for Bruce of various characters that are found in the first issue. These change, and you'll see when you look at some of the finished pages and towards the end, these characters have changed tremendously since the early beginning. So we worked on the character design. While we're working on character design, I'm reading the script. And here's a good example of how the style can change or a character can change. This is Rebecca Moss. This is one of the main characters in the story. If you look over to the right, that was one of my early sketches of her. And so Bruce and I refined it more and more to the look that you see on the left. So once we have the characters sort of kind of figured out what they're going to look like, we then start to work more heavily in the script. And this is where storyboarding comes in. Filmmakers will often use storyboards to plan out their flow of their film. Scene changes, different types of scene changes will occur in the storyboard. And if you've ever watched a Pixar movie and you've watched the special features at the end, you may have seen examples of storyboarding done. But comics are no different. So that's the first step, is really going over this with a fine-tooth comb. What I will do is I'll read it and I'll send Bruce storyboards of page 1. I'll mark on the script exactly what is going to be depicted on that page, where it starts and where it stops. Sometimes scenes move a lot faster. Sometimes there's certain scenes that take a lot of time. So let's read together a little bit from the first page of Mockingbirds. So we see at the top it says exterior, the EXT means exterior passenger train, and it's daytime. There's my setting. So this correlates to film. Film would actually, the script for a film would be similar to this, okay? You know exactly where you are, you know the time of day it is. It's winter, 1916. You know the time of year it is, and we know what era or what period it falls on. That's all the information I know. Do you understand how much just that little bit of information impacts the overall look of the story? I'm not going to be drawing anyone using an iPhone in the background, right? It's 1916. So we start outside of a train car, wide, rolling through a lush green countryside. We move in, looking through, I think it says, a small rectangular window. Charlie Ford, mid-20s, with messy hair and a beard, is looking straight ahead as we stare at his profile. There's a lot of direction in that paragraph. When you see words such as we move in, that's direction for the artist to do a close-up, right? And film works a lot similar to this. You have a lot of direction with the script. Sometimes a director may put tons of detail in there. So, having read now the first portion of this, and we could go on if we wanted, we work on the storyboard. Now, this is not a storyboard from the actual book because I did not have any access to my storyboard's originals when creating this PowerPoint. So, I used this, I pulled this from online. But the point is easily made here because you'll see those are stick figures, right? That's all you need to start out with a storyboard. Just the general depiction of where characters move, where they're positioned in a frame, and how they relate to the panels. The panels are the boxes that the art is found in. Then from there, we'll actually polish the storyboard up a little more. I may draw more detail in there to show certain things. The director may ask, or in this case, the author may ask, well, what is this one particular scene? Can you show me a little bit more about that? What's the angle to the character that is being depicted? And so we'll do that. So let's read again, and now let's pretend that we've read this, we've penciled out our storyboards, and I want you to see how this translates from words on paper to images here in a second. I'm going to pick up where I left off a minute ago. So this says interior now, passenger train bathroom, continuous. That means a continuous shot. Charlie is staring at himself in a scratched up metal mirror. The bathroom is pretty bare bones. Charlie wipes some cream across his face, dips his hand with the razor into the bucket of water, and then starts to cut away at the beard. He stops for a moment, leaving a bushy mustache, smirks in the mirror, and then continues to shave it off. In a quick succession, he removes his shirt and digs into the green Army issue bag. He pours some water over his hair, unwraps the paper around a clean, pressed World War I era Army shirt and pants, and gets dressed. He combs his hair into a perfect sculpture and exits the bathroom. Now we see exterior. Passenger train continues. The train moves down the tracks, a small town in the distance. As we close in on the station, we can see the streets lined with people, young and old. It looks like a big welcome home, but there are no banners or signs signaling what everyone is gathered for. Close-up of some young kids looking down the street. Close-up of some older faces staring blankly. This is all direction being given to the artist, or the director in some cases. Exterior train station continues. Charlie's train has arrived at the station. He stands, has his bag, and moves towards the door. He steps out to the sunlight, squinting and looking through the crowd. Moving along, he's looking for someone, but can't seem to find one. Young kids run by laughing, watching the main road into town as they pass by. A voice rings out from the crowd. Now, we're going to see how this translates to sketches. So, as you can see the top, we're following along. We have exterior passenger train day. It's winter 1916. We move around, start moving outside the car, ride, rolling through a lush green countryside. We zoom in to Charlie sitting there, profile shot. Okay, he's moving into the bathroom. He starts to apply the shaving cream on his face. He starts to shave. He looks in the mirror at himself with a mustache. He continues to shave it off. He's now reaching in his duffel bag. He's pulling out his pressed Army shirt and pants, and he's getting ready to comb his hair. This is the next scene, penciled and inked. And if you notice in this scene, you'll see some blue. If you see that blue within the panels, that's pencil lines. So this hasn't been cleaned up. The process of creating a comic book is not just penciling and inking and scanning. There's a lot to it. If you're familiar with Photoshop, you're steps ahead. So this is the second page. And what happens? So Charlie exits the train. He's looking around. There's people staring. There's kids playing. And then at the bottom, all the way down to the main bottom, off far right, you're going to see the first speech bubble of the comic. And that's where a voice rings out from the crowd. We can then look at the next page. This process is continued over and over and over. Sometimes within a script page, you may be able to move through 2 pages within 1 page of a comic. Other times, you can barely get through a paragraph of a script within a page of a comic. This actually starts the communication between the characters, so you'll see just like a script that's depicted with the name of the character and then below what the character is saying. Any action that has taken place is off-centered to the left. You'll see they shake hands underneath Sheriff Bailey's first comment. He says, "Welcome home, son. Seems like you brought the cold with you." They shake hands. That's direction. If you look close, you can see where that takes place in the top middle panel where the sheriff is shaking hands with Charlie. Creating comics can be rewarding when you see this start to come together. And the cool thing about comic creation, I have an unlimited budget. I mean, directors are often impaired by their budget, right? So how much can they get done with what money they have to create the film with? When creating comics, in terms of the story, at least in drawing the panels, I can have my setting be on the moon if I want, but I don't have to pay for those special effects. Now we can see as this moves on, the script runs similar to a film. This is another page from the book here. If you look over to the left, I've placed the page of the script that this page is actually pulled from. And we'll start to see now things are picking up. Now, I mentioned color, remember? So what Bruce will do is he'll take the art, and I send him a very rough scan page. Bruce takes that and he lays down first what's known as flats. So that's a baseline cutter. It's like your base coat to your home, right? If you're painting something, your base coat. And then from there he starts to add the nice effects, such as maybe the change in a certain hue, or different patterns or textures even. Like if you look at the walls and the bottom panels, this is where Bruce starts to apply the color. If you notice really close in this isn't finished, but you can see some examples of how the base coat, if you will, is placed down, and I'll have more examples of that further on. But you have to start out with the base coat. Now we start to add words to where our speech bubbles are. You can do that two ways. You can hand letter this, or you can use a computer program to do it. Bruce has decided for his lettering, to use a computer program. And in a little bit as well, we're going to talk. We actually, there's an amazing class offered here last semester that I was fortunate enough to be able to participate in. Professor Reed, it was FMA 390, creating a digital comics, and so we want to bring some of the students up to talk about that here in a second. But let's take another look here at how the matting works. So this is prior to any words being placed onto the page. You can see the texture in the middle panels. That's added on after we have our base coat. Now notice this. This looks like it's almost hurts the eye a little bit, but these are your base coats to your comic. So this is laid down. All those big bright colors go away. So that's not the final product. But Bruce said that his decision to use such bright primary colors in some areas is that he wants to make sure, as he colors this, how far away he can get from that with what's called earth tones. Okay. See, here's another couple of examples of laying this base coat down for comics. This is all done digitally. It's really neat. Those of you who are familiar with Photoshop, you kind of know how this works. So these pages here have all been framed and ready for additional color. And you can see just how much detail. This is one panel. You have to zoom in and apply color to all those different elements of that panel. And this panel, before it was finished, you can see the smoke of the train hasn't been colored in. The trees are still bare. Now I'll just show you some more pages that we've completed. This is a transition of story and how you use the panels. And in these two pages, here's what's happening. You see the two little girls there on the steps on the porch? Okay. Their mother has passed away, and their father isn't the nicest of folks. Okay? He doesn't take care of the girls. He's a farmer. He's been through it. They're hungry. The father goes to town, so that's him leaving right here. And you can see how the panels are arranged. The one large panel, you can see the earth underneath the three at the bottom. That's one giant panel. And then we have these three panels placed on top of it. So the father's leaving. And you can see how large and menacing the father is in appearance in relation to the girls. So he leaves. Up at the top, you can see him walking off in the distance in the first panel. And then Rebecca's younger sister says to her, "I'm hungry." Okay? So you can see them then reaching into the chicken coop. They pull out a chicken. The younger sister is plucking the feathers while the older sister digs a hole and she's starting a fire. The dog is smelling the chicken as they sit and they eat it. They carefully gather up all the feathers, all the bones, dig up into the hole. And the last scene here, in this transition scene, you can see her slowly starting to fill the hole up with dirt. Okay? What happens in the following scene is the father comes home and the dog has dug up the hole, smelling the chicken. The father, thinking that the dog has killed the chicken, he then kills the dog. Now, there's a lot of opportunities with this story to show full spreads. This is a full spread here. If you look close.